Hello my lovely bookish friends, and welcome back to another video. I honestly can't believe that we're at the end of July. I can't believe that we are doing the July wrap up. It feels like this month, actually just this whole summer, just feels like it has come and gone, and because it's been so very wet and miserable here in the UK, it sort of just hasn't really felt like summer. It's just been a bit miserable. However, I have managed to read some really good books this month, so let us get to what I read. The first book on this wrap-up is one that I'm carrying over from last month, and it will also be carrying over again into August, and that is Midsummer Mysteries by Agatha Christie. This is a short story collection by the Queen of Mysteries. I am really enjoying this one. I decided to spread this book out over the summer, and I'm really enjoying it, just finding it's the perfect book to pick up whenever I'm not sure what to read or just want a good cozy mystery. Next is an ebook, A Conspirator Courting. I always get that name mixed up for some reason. Anyway, this is a Regency retelling of Much to Do About Nothing, which is one of my favourite Shakespeare plays. This novel really plays with Benedict and Beatrice's storyline, and it was fun. The characters were great, however I found that the storyline never really hooked me in enough. However, it was an enjoyable evening's read. Next is a book that I picked up at the book festival that I attended. I went there as one of the authors, and in the booth next to me was the lovely author of this poetry collection, Journeying. This, as the title suggests, is about the poet's journey moving away from their home country to another. I have really enjoyed this. I forgot how much I like reading poetry. It's been a while since I have read poetry, and I just forgot how much I like reading it and just slowly taking it in. This next book I absolutely loved. It is The Study of Poisons. Now this is actually a retelling of this author's best known work and series, which is Poison Study. But this is now told from the male's point of view, so it's just that story told from a different point of view. The original story is told by the female lead, who is sentenced to become the commander's food tester in this kingdom where magic isn't allowed, but she has magic. She is put under the guard of this commander's second-hand man, who is also this infamous assassin, and it is his story and his point of view that we now get in The Study of Poisons. I probably didn't explain that very well, however I love the original trilogy, and the main lead, I think his name's Valak, I'm never quite sure how to pronounce it. He's just my fave, and this is exactly what I didn't know I needed. I will definitely be getting a physical copy of this book as I really enjoyed it, and any of you who like the original, then you should definitely check this out. It doesn't disappoint. After Assassins and Magic, I went into an Austen mood, beginning with Sense and Sensibility. This follows two sisters as they go through the ups and downs of moving to a new neighbourhood and being crossed in love. I annotated this book this time round, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. The story is so tender and heartfelt, and the silent strength of the character Eleanor is just one that I really admire. It was a really great reread. After that, I read Emma, also by Jane Austen. This follows Emma, who is a self-proclaimed matchmaker, and this follows her story of her she goes through quite a lot of trouble caused by her own meddling and matchmaking. It's a really fun Austen read. This is also a bit of a spoiler for my next annotating video, but I couldn't not mention it, as I just love Emma, and particularly I love the character of Knightley. He is one of my favourite Austen heroes. I just love him, and annotating the banter and the story between the two made me realise there's actually quite a lot of hints quite early about his feelings, and it was just so much more fun to read when I was actually annotating it, and I've really enjoyed it. That video should be out very soon. And then sticking to Austen just a little bit longer, I also read the manga version of Sense and Sensibility last month. This is a complete manga version, and it's just so much fun. I love manga and I love Austen's work, so this was a perfect combination for me. And then finally, I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is about a cafe in Japan where you can travel in time, but you can only stay in the same spot and you have to return before the coffee gets cold. Guys, I cried. I cried and then ordered the next book from the library. This is just so good and hits all the feels. It's a short book split into these like their individual stories with this overarching kind of plot going along, but yeah, they just all really hit the feels, and it's all about regrets and love, and I just highly recommend giving this a go if you have not. It's just so good.
So that was it. That was all the books that I read in July. And honestly, it kind of felt a bit of a weird reading month, which I have these quite often, where I read books on, especially books on like ebooks, I read them really quickly. So a number of these books, like Before the Coffee Gets Cold, the Study of Poisons, and the Conspiratorial Courting, all of them I literally read in like one sitting. And because of that, I sort of can't. I like when I was coming to doing this video, I was like, what did I actually read this month? Because I wasn't. There was like these between these like one sitting reads. There was often quite a few days of just not reading in between them, and it kind of made me feel like, what did I actually read this month? I couldn't actually really remember what it was that I read, and that sometimes is the only problem when you kind of read a book quickly in one sitting, even if it's just because it's a small book. It's not because you're like rushing through it or anything like that. When you read it so quickly, sometimes it doesn't feel, I don't know, sometimes I don't feel like I take it in as well as books that I end up like reading for longer. But yeah, I have really enjoyed everything. Before the Coffee Gets Cold was such a brilliant book. I really enjoyed it, and I will definitely be adding the other 3 books in the series to my TBR. And speaking of TBRs, I still have only read 2 books off that books I need to read in 2023 list that I did at the start of the year. I mean, there was 12 books and I said I was going to do one every month, and I just really haven't. To be honest, for some reason I'm kind of just not feeling the books that I put on the list. It's like, for whatever reason, I can't seem to bring myself to get them off the shelf and read them. I really don't want to have to do a mad rush at the end of the year where I try and get as many off the list read at, you know, just but I don't know, I'm just really not feeling them. Hopefully next month will be the month where I pick one off and start reading. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing, as I have a lot more bookish content to come. And please do put in the comments below what your favourite book that you read in July was, any book recommendations, anything like that. I love to read them. So until next time, my lovely bookish friends, bye.